First of all, let me say that I want to be clear. Today, I'm not speaking as a fan. A lot of people know I'm a huge sports fan. I'm not here as a fan. We have a lot of fans. Some live in Hamilton County, but a lot of them don't live in Hamilton County. And we appreciate their support as fans. However, I was elected to be at this particular juncture as a representative of the taxpayers that voted for me. 218,338. Yeah, that's important because that was rough. And in talking with them, they had a lot of things that they had said to me during the election and after about how they wanted to be represented. So it's not Alicia Reece's thing, it's what the people voted for me asked me to bring to the table. There are a couple things that I am concerned about today, and I've named a lot of them before, but I'm going to just highlight them today. One, it is true that there is a different group from the county side that is going into this negotiation, but it's the same ownership that was in the negotiation in 1996, 1997. The voters went to the polls to vote for 2 stadiums, and they supported that. I wasn't even in politics and wasn't thinking about being in politics. What they were concerned about, though, is after they voted, there was a lot of meetings behind the scenes that created what you call the binding document, AKA the lease. They were so angry that they waited to the chance they could catch the next election cycle, and that person was elected out of office. And Todd Pertune, the late Todd Pertune, was elected against this lease on behalf of the people who voted for 2 stadiums but did not vote for these details. What I have found in this is that the ownership, their side, did a very good job, and they put every single thing in writing. There's no such thing as a handshake or let's just talk about it. Whenever there's something, it has to be in writing. And I have been concerned because what I voted on was for our team. We said we voted for some people to go in. I told the voters that I thought that's what I was voting on, is for our team to go in to negotiate a new lease. That's what I was voting on. And the goal was to go in and get out of this lease that does not exist in any NFL team in America. It's a 94% on the taxpayers' backs and 6% on the ownership. So in essence, I was voting to bring the team in to bring the cost down. I said, go in there and let's get a better lease to bring the cost down on the taxpayers. And so I thought all these meetings that were happening was to get to this lease to bring the cost down. But instead, what I'm being presented today is a whole lot of meetings that resulted in a memo, aka MOU, that's putting some more money up. Not one cut to the taxpayers. We're not adding $65 million to the existing deal. And if you go to item number 7.1 on here, it asks the question, and it explicitly says, let me get to it because I want to make sure I'm accurate. It says 7.3 says no impact to the lease. We didn't bring a cost down. I sent them in there to bring the cost down on the taxpayers, to get out of the 94% on the taxpayers' back. What I got in result is we got to hurry up and vote for $65 more million and nothing on this. And then we say, well, we can't do nothing on this. We got to wait on the state. But we're moving on this. Now, I appreciate deadlines. They say, oh, we got to do this by April 30th. However, we've had a deadline since 1997. This lease has a deadline on it. And since 1997, we knew that they had until June of 2005, which is now, to decide if they're going to stay, and to June 2026 if they're going to go. So we had a deadline since 1997. So I appreciate the NFL's deadline, but we could have been working on this 20, 30 years. We knew this deadline. So we could have maybe had this mirror the deadline of the NFL on April 30th. And we had a head start. But nothing today on the lease. Now, when we go back and look at, I'm a sports person, you go back and you look at, okay, two negotiators coming to the table. Of course, we got to give and take. We want a win-win. I learned that from Procter & Gamble when I was an intern. Get a win-win, but never walk away with a win-loss. And sometimes it gets dicey. It's going to get rough because if someone has 94% and you trying to get some percentages off of that, they're not going to want to just give up the 94%. No one wants to give up this deal. It's like a person has a deal with their cell phone 20 years ago, unlimited everything, and they don't offer it no more. They're always trying to get you out of it, but you say, no, I'm holding on to this old deal. Or a insurance deal that they don't sell anymore, a policy. You want to hold on to this old policy because they don't offer this anymore. But I'm disappointed that I voted to go into the room and bring something back that cuts the cost to the taxpayers. That was what I was charged to do. That's what the taxpayers told me to do. And today, we're not cutting the cost to the taxpayers, but instead we're adding $65 million in the court or whatever. We're adding money to it, $60 million or whatever, $34 million, whatever. It's an add. It's not a subtraction. It's not a subtraction. And then we don't have a lease as a result. Now, I have voted when they say, hey, show the team you want to work with them. Mr. Ludo presented that we needed to do this $39 million deal to do some upgrades. We got the same thing we're hearing today. We got to do these upgrades and we got to do it before the season. And I did go along with it, showing goodwill to Bengals ownership that, yes, I'll go along with it. And Mr. Ludo said, we do this, we can get a lease. We did it, no lease. We did something with the grass down there, some kind of irrigation or whatever. We said, if you do that, it'll show goodwill and we can get a lease. I went along with it. Every week almost, we got something that we're doing over at Paycor Stadium. We're voting for things to keep our end of the bargain. I vote for them, never voted no, because we want to try to show goodwill to get a lease. We came back with the naming rights came up. To this day, they've never told us how much they got in the naming rights. $66 million we found out later because Paycor and Paycheck, they had to sell. So it's public record. For $66 million, guess how much Bengals ownership gave Paycor? 16 years. We're putting up millions, and today we're getting no extra years. 0 extra years. But for $66 million, they got 16 years. And oh, by the way, made sure it was under the threshold in the lease, so the taxpayers got 0. Didn't benefit from it. Then we came back and said, hey, we want to have the community more involved in these stadiums. We own these stadiums. The people don't get a chance to be in there. So I came up with, hey, what about a watch party for free so that the fans and the citizens could come in for free? They ran and said the NFL, Mr. Ludo ran and he gave me a letter, claimed the NFL said no. But then they came back and now they have watch parties, but now it's costing you $99. No benefit to the taxpayers. And when I look at this, and you keep a scorecard, they've been undefeated at beating the taxpayers since 1997. They beat them with the lease. Taxpayers lost. $39 million in upgrades, no lease. Taxpayers lost. Get the grass fixed. Taxpayers lost. No lease. $66 million in naming rights. No money for taxpayers. Taxpayers lost. Paycor paycheck got 16 years. Let's have a free watch party for the community. They said no. Taxpayers lost. Can't even go in the place. Can't even get in unless you got money. Then we came back, and I thought originally they said the NFL in our discussions, we needed to have at least $100 million or more from the NFL to help with the capital stack. The real cost of what is in this MOU and what has been told to us is $830 million. So we still got a deficit. If it's $830 million that's necessary to move forward. So with all of that, I just see the taxpayers keep getting the short end of the stick. We keep a la carting our way, but never getting anything more for the taxpayers. Even in this MOU, again, 7.3 underlined, no impact to the lease. So if we were trying to get a better lease, this ain't gonna get it. Says nothing in this MOU, I'm reading what it says, is intended to nor shall be deemed or construed to or alter the terms of this lease. And this is what the taxpayers said they want to get out of. This is what they want to talk about. I didn't run into anybody said they was looking for an MOU or a memo. They want to get a better lease. So nothing today, according to 7.3, I didn't write it, has anything to do with the lease. So the judge said, oh, we ain't got nothing. We're back to the same lease. Now the next thing, and I was excited because I thought, man, we're gonna get some, maybe this, but it's all said, if we do this, we can get a lease. If we do $39 million, we can get a lease. Keep spending. If we can do this, we're gonna get a lease. We haven't gotten it. Now, Exhibit C, it says what the county funded. What would the county fund for these dollars? Okay. It says East and West Club vertical transportation. It don't say nothing about going up to the 300 section, the cheap seats, the so-called cheap seats. And I had a lot of people call me and say, hey, I'm up in the cheap seats. You didn't give us no new seats. I'm up in the cheap seats. I can't get up on the escalator. Now, we said we're going to roll it in, but that thing should have been done immediately. But it's not in here. This is saying club lounge and suite level. You know how much that costs. This is for the big time folks. Electrical power upgrade to East and West Club lounge suite levels. You got to pay extra to be at the suite levels. That's extra money. And we don't control the cost of those tickets. The other thing, we don't control any tickets, but they can go up on these tickets. Then it says East-West passenger elevator. Okay? Then it says suite code related updates. So everything is suite. The suite seats. Then it says suite glazing refurbishment. Now this is what the county dollars. This ain't they dollars. This is what our dollars are going into. So for me, I heard it very clearly. You know, I'm ready to look at when anybody gets ready. So let's get down to the lease. Now, I'm not privy to all these meetings. They have some meetings, and I don't know, and sometimes we get it. But sometimes I find out stuff on records request myself. We can't have that. Records request, and then I get it to read it. I don't even know what had went on. So it's very complicated, but I think it's very simple for me. I'm ready to get down to this. And I'm kind of disappointed. I ain't gonna say kind of, I am disappointed that I voted to send the people in to negotiate, and what came back is a memo for some more money that doesn't impact this particular lease. I did present a counter and said, why don't the Bengals ownership, because of the deadline, go ahead and front load it all? Because I know based on Forbes magazine, they could afford it. Could they front load it? And then we keep working on the lease. And if we get some with the lease, maybe we can roll that in. And I don't even think was even presented to them. But I think that would have been a better deal. So I can't support this today, but I will have to say that I have supported the Bengals. I support them almost every other week. We vote on something that has to get fixed over there. I supported the $39 million in hopes we would get a lease. We did not. I voted for this grass, whatever they call it. That was some funding. I voted for it. No, said if we do this to show that the lease will happen, it did not happen. I tried to work with them and say, let's do a watch party. Let's do something free for the community and the citizens. It was said no. Then they came back with the watch party and now want to charge the citizens to come into this publicly owned facility. I don't agree with that. I did say, I was told that the NFL needed to put up a minimum of $100 million toward the capital stack. We don't have $100 million from the NFL. That's not happening. I have tried and tried. I said, let's get busy on this, because since 1997, according to page 21 and 23 of the contract, it gives the dates of when it expired, when it will be expiring, and we just haven't moved to that. And $830 million is what I'm told is the total cost, and there's nothing in this lease to bring the cost down on the taxpayers, and that's really my goal. So with that, I won't be able to support this today. I think I've showed a lot of goodwill in my votes to support, and now I think the taxpayers need some goodwill to get to a new lease that gets them out of a 94% deal. Maintenance and operations, I've been very concerned about that, because the maintenance cost is going to be high. This is an older facility. It's like an old car with no warranty. We've got to get this maintenance off the backs of the taxpayers. It gives them a lot of risk and exposure. And as you can see, these deals exceed even us. We weren't even here, and we're still dealing with this deal. And whatever the next deal comes, that might be 20 years. That's a long time to tangle up the taxpayers. So we've got to make sure we get a better deal. I'm going to stay hopeful, but we just can't keep giving away all the chips when you're trying to go into a negotiation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I can't support it because at some point we've got to say, let's stop and really get to the lease. I've been saying this for over 2 years. When are we going to get down, roll up our sleeves, get the blank piece of paper out and get to the lease? And each time I have voted 39 million. We had the same, we could take the tape. It's the same tape. If we do this, because we got to make these improvements, we're going to show we're together, we're going to show we're a partner, we should go with it. And I said, okay, I'll go with it. It's going to take us to be able to get to the lease. And each time we keep giving up, and we're not getting for the lease. The lease is last, when the lease, in my mind, should have been first. Now, I'm going to be clear. I really voted for the people to go negotiate a new lease, period. That's what I told them. We already was talking to them about making improvements. We have that on our agenda almost every month. We've got some things that we've got to fix, and we do that every month. Millions and millions and millions. I'm going to add it up, and I'll get you a total. That's different. But then they said, if we do this $39 million, we got to hurry up and do it. We got a deadline, and I went with it. And we got no lease. Hurry up. We got to do something on the grass. We got to make sure everything's right. I did it, and I didn't get a lease. The people didn't get a lease. So I don't want to say this is a past lease. This is the lease today, the lease tomorrow, the lease next week. This is the lease until you get something else. So this is not the past. This is the right now. And so for me, I thought, and let me just say, last time and it's not to say the people we hired are not good, but they hired somebody too back in the day. We can't find the person. I asked them, what's their name? Oh, I don't know if they still in business. I can't. But they hired somebody too that was supposed to do these type of deals and understood NFL and all that. And at the end of the day, I don't know if their recommendations were taken or not taken. But this is what happened. And we can't find those people to this day. The taxpayers still have to pay. The other thing I forgot to bring up, which is very important, taxpayers were promised 30% property tax rollback. That's why a lot of homeowners ran to the polls and voted for it, because they said, even if I don't like football and I'm going to pay for it, even if I never go to a game, but I'm going to pay for it, maybe this will help me with my home, hold on to my house. And so in the resolution, it says property tax rollback, but it doesn't say the amount. Okay, it goes and says that on the first whereas. Now, every year we got to fight for the 30%, and I'm always told that the fund that we have, that fund, which is sales tax, we don't have enough. Now, we were able to get it done, I think, twice since I've been here, but we always say we don't have it. So how do we not have it here, and it's the same fund, but we got it for the memo, for more money? I got a problem with that. The other thing, when I talked about them being undefeated and beating out the taxpayers, is the $39 million of no lease. I talked about that. The $66 million naming rights, no money for taxpayers. Wouldn't even tell us to this day how much it is. We had to find out in the newspaper. They get 16 years Paycor paycheck for $66 million. We putting up something, and we get no more new years for this. Then I talked about the watch party being free. We said we want something for the community. They came back, said no, came back with a watch party they're charging for so they can make money from that. The other thing is they went to the state. This ain't the first time going to the state. The Brown ownership went to the state to get a deal for their stadium and everything. Our folks went to the state and got a deal to be exempt, and probably these upgrades they're going to be doing, they're exempt from sales tax. Now, how do we pay for the stadium? It's with sales tax. We went up on sales tax. So somebody buying bubble gum is paying. Mike can't even afford to go to a game. They have to pay. But they want to be exempt. So they're undefeated against us. And I'm just trying to get a win for the taxpayers. Can we get one? One for the taxpayers? And that's why I'm on the lease. So today, even though I went with $39 million, I went with the grass, I went with millions and millions of dollars every single week, today I've got to say no on behalf of the taxpayers. And I look forward to when they're ready to talk about the lease, I'm ready to get down to the lease. So unfortunately, I won't be able to support it today.
I think this puts us on good footing. So with that, I'm going to offer a motion to approve of the resolution approving of the memorandum of understanding between the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County and the Cincinnati Bengals regarding Phase 1 of the Stadium Modernization and Renovation Program and associated agreements pertaining to Paycor Stadium.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reece.
No.
Thank you.